All right, it is 6:30. We'll call the March council meeting to order. Welcome to those in attendance, those watching at home, and to the Common Council. At this time, we will have the clerk call the roll.
Bry,
Here.
Schley,
Here.
Katarabik. Here. Beeman,
Here.
Sakala,
Here.
Bolt,
Here.
Cummings,
Here.
Vanderkin,
Here.
Reckelberg,
Here.
Sikowitz,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. At this time, will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And if you could remain standing after the pledge for a prayer by our council president, Eric Sitkowitz. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, may our minds become steadfast on you and your word. Fill us with your peace as we dwell on thoughts of your goodness and grace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Council President Sitkowitz. We have a few presentations this evening. Item D on the agenda. The first one we'll take up is for our police department, an oath of office and badge pinning for Police Officer Jenna Brandt. If Jenna and her family would like to come up, Chief and any members of the Manitowoc Police Department, to show support, please come on up and we will do the oath.
Your whole crew to join you. Oh, yeah. All right. Whenever you're ready, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Jenna Brandt, solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer for the City of Manitowoc
police officer of the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Hope I won't stick you.
There you go. Just,
You just want to go around and shake everybody's hand here? Oh, and this guy. Yeah. Oh, right here down. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, if you just want to wait till they all get settled. All right, congratulations, Officer Brandt, officially to the Manitowoc Police Department. We have several officers in the Manitowoc Fire Department that will also be getting their badge pinning and oath of office, all for motor pump operator. So if Philip Stodola, Philip Burton, Cody Saraki, and Alex Pernice would like to come up, please, along with your families. We can do it in that order. First two Phillips, and Cody and Alex, and we will perform that. And if any other member of the Manitowoc Fire and Rescue Department also here.
When you're ready, if you'd raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Philip Stodola,
I, Philip Stodola,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of motor pump operator
of motor pump operator
for the City of Manitowoc
for the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Check your signature on this top line, please. When you're ready, if you'd raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Philip Burton,
I, Philip Burton,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I'll just take your signature right on that top line.
Use your chance.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Cody Saraki,
I, Cody Saraki,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. You would just sign the top line, please. Please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Alex Pernice,
I, Alex Pernice,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
of motor pump operator for the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I'll ask you to sign the top line, please.
Congratulations to everyone, and welcome to the Manitowoc Fire Rescue Department. We have one other presentation this evening, and that is for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, which will be happening in April, but we're doing it here because it'll be before the before the April council meeting. So I'd like to invite up both the chiefs, actually, and Angela Aubry and Mason Matty from Manitowoc County for the proclamation. And wherever the other chief went, there he is. All right, the proclamation reads, emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMS providers depend upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Manitowoc County Joint Dispatch Center. Whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our law enforcement officers and firefighters and EMS providers by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. Whereas public safety telecommunicators are critical in improving the chance of survival for patients who experience sudden cardiac arrest by recognizing the need for cardiopulmonary resuscitation and other life-saving interventions prior to arrival of EMS. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of Manitowoc County Joint Dispatch Center has contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each telecommunicator has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during their performance on the job this past year. Now therefore, I, Justin Nichols, Mayor of the City of Manitowoc, do hereby proclaim the week of April 14th through the 20th, 2024 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the City of Manitowoc in honor of the people whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Thank you. I think we can all agree that as important as it is to have a police officer or firefighter show up on scene, they wouldn't have been there without the folks behind the scenes. Sometimes we forget there's a lot of people who play a major role in safety in our community, and these are the folks who are first on the line, and they need to know everything that a police officer and firefighter needs to know. So thank you for all your work and everyone at the Manitowoc County Joint Dispatch Center. I don't know if the chiefs want to say anything or if you both would like to say something. Sure. Angela? Go ahead.
On behalf of the Dispatch Center, I would like to thank the council for issuing this proclamation. The recognition means a lot. We do every year, it's the second week in April, we try to do as much as we can to make it a fun week and to provide some special activities and recognition for our staff. And this recognition is very meaningful for us, so thank you very much.
No? All right. Thank you. All right, that concludes our presentations. We'll move to item E, public hearings. There are none this evening. We'll move to item F on the agenda, public input. If there's anyone here from the public wishing to address the council on anything germane to the business of the city of Manitowoc, you may do so at this time. Anyone interested in speaking for public input? Yes, please, if you could just state your name for the record.
My name is Mike Ponish. I'm tackle football director for the Manitowoc Chiefs. This year marks our 50th year of tackle football. Many of you know we have tackle football for grades 5th through 8th. Each year we have somewhere around 150 kids that play in our tackle program. We recently started a flag football program that's been incredibly successful. We literally have hundreds of kids each year that participate in that program. And the other thing it does is it increases our usage of the facility in that we're really trying to get to a point where we're using our Chiefs facility year-round. So we're looking for the support of the community and certainly the council to back our plan to improve our facility. We're looking at a significant upgrade in terms of lights, permanent bleachers, a new scoreboard, various improvements to the property. And I just came tonight just to tell you how incredibly important it is for our program. Like I said, you know, I'm very proud of the work we do at the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a long history beyond the 50 years of youth football here in the community, and we're proud to be a partner here in the community. And you know, it's just the Chiefs are unique in the sense that it's the one opportunity for kids, regardless of what school you attend, to play football together. We have kids from Lutheran, we have kids from Lincoln, we have kids from Roncalli, we have homeschool kids, and they all get together and play together as one, and that makes that very unique. And we're doing everything we can, not just to provide a great football experience for the kids, but also to help improve football here in Manitowoc. And one of my things in the brief time I've been with the Chiefs is I refuse to accept that kids in Manitowoc have to accept second place, that they have to take second place. You know, we go to different facilities that have had upgrades over the years, and they're very nice. You know, and you think about here in Manitowoc, some of the things we've done together as a community, from the aquatic center to the upgraded baseball facility, you know, what that's done for that program. And I just believe really, really strongly that what we're trying to do at the Chiefs can do that same kind of thing for football here in Manitowoc. You know, football in general, right? Just football has a great history here in Manitowoc. You know, state championships at several of the schools, and right now we've got 3 coaches that are committed to bringing Manitowoc back to the top. And it starts and ends with kids playing and kids participating. And the Chiefs can play a huge role in that. So we're certainly looking not just for the support of the council, but also the support of the community to help launch this project and to finish it, and to make the Chiefs be around for another 50 years of youth football here on the Lakeshore. So just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. Like I said, this project is vitally important to our program and to what we're trying to do. And again, to not only help improve football here on the Lakeshore, but also to give our kids the best experience possible. And again, that's a huge point of emphasis for me, in that you know, I want all of our kids, regardless of what school they go to play in a facility that they can really be proud of and that we can be proud of as a community. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Is there anyone else interested in speaking for public input? Anyone? Yes, if you just please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Colin Brunell. I am actually, as many know, I am currently running for an alderman position. The reason that I am here today is in going and talking to people, I have had the opportunity to listen to some of their thoughts, especially on one item in particular, and that's the kiosks. I've had a great many conversations about needs versus want in budgeting and finance from the people's perspective. And, you know, they look to the city and then they look to their pocketbooks, and they see a lot of times, you know, some usage of funds that they don't necessarily agree with. And this is one of those items. You know, we all walk around with phones in our pockets. It just doesn't really make sense to have kiosks in our city. You know, those can be kiosks. There is a better way to do it, maybe an app or something. I don't necessarily see the usage of almost $70,000 on an item, and then having, you know, it looked like $7,200 a year for that item annually. It just doesn't seem to be a very good usage of funds. So I'd urge the council to vote against any endeavor that would be having those kiosks. I don't see the fruit in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else interested in speaking for public input? Once, twice. We'll close public input. We'll move to the items. Let's see, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is appointments, and there are none this evening. You'll get a plethora of them in May. We'll move then to the consent agenda. Is there anything to be removed from the consent agenda? I would just like to note, just because there's a lot of stuff on the consent agenda, just that has been talked about over and over again through budget and through different committees, but just so the citizens are aware, of approving a contract to remove even more trees at Fleetwood Park because of emerald ash. That's one thing that's on the consent. Is more cameras at city parks, which was of course approved during the budget. That is being approved for the bidder who got that. A lot of road projects like Franklin Street and all of our concrete slab replacements are all on there. the RAR West Art Museum roof replacement, all of which, most of these projects, all of which came in under what we budgeted, which is good. There's some that are still coming in a little higher. But a lot of work is going to be done over the next few weeks here and months in our parks and on our roads and on our public buildings. They're on consent, so they're not going to be discussed, but they've been discussed many times, and now they'll actually be awarded the bid tonight. So anything to be removed from the consent agenda? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. We will then move to item I on the agenda, committee reports, and we'll start with Committee of the Whole and Council President Eric Sitkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one document this evening. It's the special events, and the clerk has that document.
We have document 1324, which is a report of the Special Events Committee recommending approval for a variety of special events subject to council action. Committee returns same, recommending approval.
What's your pleasure on this report?
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else, Council President Sitkowitz?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor. That does complete our business.
Thank you. We'll then move to the Finance Committee and Alderman Jim Bry as chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to let Vice Chair Alderman Reckelberg to take the committee report because I was at that last meeting. I was in the hospital at the last meeting. And while I'm here, I got the yes. Thank you very much for all the well wishes and good thoughts and stuff. I am recuperating. I am recovering. So hopefully we're going in the right direction. But thank you once again. So thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bry. We'll take up the documents then.
Yes, the clerk has our documents.
Sounds good.
Document 1270 is a 2-year operator's license, application number 230371 for Jay Garza. Committee returns same, recommending to deny the license.
Council, your pleasure on this report?
Motion to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Alderman Reckelberg, since he made the motion.
Yes, I would move to amend the committee's recommendation from denial to the issuance and approval of the issuance of that would be my motion to amend.
Second.
Motion and a second to amend. Discussion on the motion to amend. Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. That is now the main motion, which is to approve the operator's license. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1271 is a 2-year operator's license, application 230381 for T. Rezichek. Committee returns same, recommending to deny the license.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Alderman Reckelberg.
Once again, here I would move to amend the committee's recommendation from denial to the issuance and approval of the issuance of the license.
Second.
Motion and a second by Alderman Bry. Discussion on the motion to amend. Yeah, Alderman Schley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No discussion, just from somebody whose last name gets mispronounced all the time. The name is pronounced Rezacek.
My apologies.
No need.
Thank you, Alderman Schley. More of the discussion
Good one.
on the motion to amend. All those in favor then of the motion to amend?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. That is now the main motion, which is to approve the license. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1274 is consideration of an initial resolution regarding revenue bond financing for the Manitowoc Lutheran School Federation Incorporated project. Information with respect to the job impact of the project will be available at the time of consideration of initial resolution. Committee returns same, recommending to approve.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Motion to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Alderman Bry.
Just quickly, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just so everybody's information, first of all, great project and we wish them nothing but the best, but you might see it as an industrial revenue bond. Essentially, the city of Manitowoc is acting as a conduit, so it's a pass-through. There'll be no city money involved with this or bonding or liability for that matter. It'll all be with Manitowoc Lutheran High School, but we're definitely willing and able and happy to participate in this project because this will be great for the whole, not just for the city, but the whole area as well. So thank you again.
Thank you for that explanation, Alderman Bry. Any further? Alderman Sitkowitz.
No, thank you. And to just Alderbright's point again about the no liability on the city side or with just using it as a conduit. It's been a long time since we've done, I don't even know if the city has done one of these in the past, but it's been a long time since we've used the conduit method to be able to do it. So it's a great thing for Manitowoc Lutheran High School with their expansion and again, trying to create great environments for children.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1275 is a 2024 budget amendment for Special Revenue Fund 2870, Visit Manitowoc, in the amount of $68,950. Committee return same, recommending to approve the transfer.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second discussion. Alderman Vanderkin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I listened to public input. I listened to a lot of my constituents' input about this. And there's a lot better things the city could be spending $70,000 on. I mean, one of the reasons given for basically for the tourism department is to, move it forward and have, be more, progressive is the right word. And one of the things that was said was that mostly everybody's on their phone. So it was kind of a move away to get away from the brick and mortar facilities. And to me, this kind of is taking a step back. I mean, this is technology from like maybe 20 years ago, implementing kiosks. I mean, it would make sense then. But today, honestly, I think Mr. Brownell made up a good point in public input. An app is probably the better option, because otherwise, let's say people are getting off the SS or the Badger, and you're forming a line at the kiosk that's serving one person at a time, whereas you can just potentially scan a QR code, download an app, and that's serving everybody at once. It's way more efficient, way more streamlined. So in my opinion, spending $70,000, which we can spend on other things, not just on tourism, I feel we could spend on other more important things. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderman Sitkowitz next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So being on the Room Tax Commission, I think one of the best things about tourism is that we get to partner with tourism experts. None of us are tourism experts, and that's why we rely on Courtney, her staff, and our tourism partners to put together a comprehensive approach for Visit Manitowoc. Kiosks happen to be one aspect of that approach. There's many other things. So we have websites with active CRM that's going to capture individuals as well while they're on their phone and mobile, which actually our website was designed to be mobile friendly first and desktop second. So we have that ability to go out and capture people, and the kiosks are one more facet of that. I think if we put all of our eggs in one basket, we have the opportunity to miss people. So we have to be diverse in trying to gather people's information again, a multifaceted approach. So I think that's great. I also think there's some misconception on what we can spend room tax dollars on, Alder Vanderkin. We are specifically designated for what we can and cannot spend room tax dollars on. I'll give you an example. Last week, I had an opportunity to sit down with the local fire union 368. And one of their most pressing issues was, how much did that Christmas tree cost downtown? And I said, why is that a union issue? And it's because it was all about dollars, and we had a great conversation about residency and budget for the fire department. But they were under the impression that we could have not spent money on those decorations and funneled it to the fire department, and that's completely untrue. So there is statutory limits on what we can spend money on, and every time we say we can spend it on something else, we're being a little disingenuous in that fact. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Sitkowitz. I have Alderman Bolt next. Nope, I'm sorry.
Question was with the app in itself, from being one who's been out, is this the kiosk also going to be linked up to an app that you can go mobile with it? And that was now answered, because if you're driving down the road and you want to use your technology, your car, to be linked up with that, that's what I was hoping that this was going with the kiosks. That's just one facet. And my questions were answered, because you also have to get the people on the road that are outside the town to get them in here to also work with that. So if you're coming through Manitowoc on I-43, you can have some of your passenger hit an app that's on the phone and that's linked up to the kiosks, which all this information is there to get them to go where we would hope they would come in to Visit Manitowoc for. But thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderman Reckelberg next.
Thank you. I took the opportunity to go over and visit with Courtney and her staff over there and get an explanation on it, because I saw some documentation that she had given us in an email, and I didn't quite get the feel for it. But when I went by her and she showed me on the computer and her other bigger things that I could see better, and she explained it to me, it made a lot of sense. The other thing is, I can appreciate the taxpayer wondering if we're spending money wisely. The first thing I say is, it's not taxpayers' money. It's not general fund money. It's not property tax money. It's not. The only really control we have from the city council's perspective, perhaps, is approving the budget. But that's all room tax money that they're spending. In fact, my conversation with Courtney was, are you sure you want that? That's about $70,000 of the fund balance that you do have to use up. And I'm just warning you that when the money's gone, the money's gone. And I'm not going to approve any property tax dollars. In fact, the whole city council, unless they've changed their mind, has taken a similar stance in the past. Now, they can change their mind, but I'm not going to. But I said, if you really want them, if you feel they're that important and you want to use your money that way, I can support it because it looks like a good plan. It's sort of like raising a child, and you try to teach them right and wrong, and you say, well, yeah, I may have given you that money, or whatever, and you want to spend it that way, I'm going to have that fatherly talk with you, but it's your decision. Here, it's the Room Tax Commission's decision. I'm sure they didn't just willy-nilly going, great, let's spend the money, because they know how the city council feels. And, most of the conversations I've had in my district is, it's sales tax, room tax money, it's not property tax or whatever. But when it's gone, it's gone. Trust me, I will not approve, with my vote anyway, any property tax or whatever going into that program. But like I said at the committee meeting, that department is doing a lot of good. They're doing wonderful work over there, and therefore I will support it. And she appreciated that, but she also appreciated my stance as to, you got so much money, that's all you get to work with. It's the room tax money, not anything else. And for people running for office, you're going to find out that a lot of people have a lot of ideas about the school board and the county, but we're here representing the city. And so, you certainly can listen to them, but there's only so much you can do. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderman Cummings next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, good comments, Alder Eckerberg. You kind of stole my thunder. Alder Eckerberg forgot more about finance than what I probably will ever know. But it was a very good point with the aspect of that being the room tax dollars for this. I'm not a city marketing expert, but I am a business marketing expert. I do have a business where that is my profession. One of the things with the kiosk that I do like about it is, yes, a lot of people have cell phones, but a lot of times we often forget not everybody that has a smartphone knows how to use a smartphone, first and foremost. I know a bunch of people that don't have smartphones. In fact, probably about 75% of my clients came to me because they are technology challenged, and that's why I exist, realistically. So when I look at marketing for a city as well, yes, you have to have an app, you have to have a mobile-friendly website, which we have. But then the kiosks, I think, hit that demographic of people that necessarily don't want to download another app, or maybe don't even know how to download an app. And they got an easy way to go and find information. I have had a number of people approach me that were off the car ferry saying, hey, I wish we had more information as far as what was there right away when we got off the car ferry. This is one of those ways if they didn't download the app. And like I said, like it was said earlier, I'm sure we'll have where to download an app and everything else on our website, all publicly available and right by those kiosks for those that don't want to sit by a kiosk. But I know there's a lot of people that will use it just for the fact that they don't use what's on their phone because they don't either know how or don't care to know how. Whatever the reason is, it's fine. But that's where I see this is for. So it is, in one aspect, then being more inclusive of all demographics of people. So I'm in support of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderwoman Katarabek next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't say much more because Alder Cummings kind of hit the nail on the head for what I want to say. I'm going to be supporting this. I think that the inclusive part of this for demographics who maybe don't have a smartphone. I have a lot of older family members who come and they don't have smartphones, and this will help to reduce barriers for tourism in that sense for people who don't have that. I work for a nonprofit that does community programming for people with developmental disabilities, and having a kiosk is something that will help them explore their own community, not even just tourism-wise. So I wholeheartedly will support this, kind of like Alder Sikowitz mentioned. We are not tourism experts up here, and I think that Courtney has been doing a great job looking at things from all sides and presenting us with information that has been vetted and that she has gone through and vetted. It's not just coming to us out of nowhere. So I will support this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Sakala.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As someone who a few years ago used to spend a fair amount of time in hotels, not so much anymore now. Yeah, I found the kiosks very useful because one reason I didn't want to download the app. You know, if I'm just staying in Paducah, Kentucky one night and I just want to see where to go to eat, I found that kiosk great instead of thumbing through my phone. As far as tax dollars, and I agree 100% with what Alder Reckelberg said. So as far as tax dollars are concerned, City of Manitowoc taxpayers not paying for any of this unless you're staying in a Manitowoc hotel and then you have, for one reason or another, bigger issues than a kiosk. So with that, I do encourage the passage of this. I think that the Room Tax Commission has done a great job getting tourism out of 1992. I do think Courtney has done a fantastic job with her and her team over at Visit Manitowoc in propelling us forward. And this is just another step. So thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you. I'm very encouraged by what I'm hearing from most of my colleagues tonight about how they're excited for tourism, for Visit Manitowoc, for what the Room Tax Commission has done, with what Courtney and her staff has done. But I also want to thank Alder Reckelberg for being the first one up here tonight to say that these are not property tax dollars. And I've made a pledge that I will not use property tax dollars to fund Visit Manitowoc. And I believe the council was unanimous in that. And I hope everybody stays to their word, because it should be, room tax should be used to promote tourism, and property tax dollars should be used for other aspects in the city, not tourism. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? The motion is to recommend approval. Thank you I just want to add one thing that that wasn't said, but I think is important to note, because anyone who knows me knows I don't, especially when it comes to tourism, I don't want to spend a dime on anything antiquated or old ways of doing business. If it were up to me, I would get rid of the visitor guide, but I understand that that's something that still needs to be there because people want that hard copy, just like there's hard copies of the newspaper around still. That form still needs to be there. But one thing that really got me about this was 2 of the kiosks are going to be located in our 2 largest hotels. You know, the previous model of drive to the visitor center to get information, the whole point is let's bring it to them. If they're coming to a hotel to stay overnight, that's 24/7 of a visitor center right in front of them when they check into their hotel at the Inn on Maritime Bay and at the Holiday Inn. And maybe, hopefully, if this takes off, other hotels will want it too. That's just a win-win. One of them will be at our visitor center downtown. So our visitor center can be open 24/7 downtown that way, which I think is great. And one of them will be able to be transported to different events. I think that's cool because when we have large events, youth baseball tournament that's bringing in thousands of people, we can have that kiosk down there. And what I love most about it, and where I really get sold on it, is unlike the visitor guide that once you print it, you can't change it. This can change to the needs of our businesses if they change their daily special for food, for lunch, or if an event changes, or if an event is added. This can go with the actual time versus a visitor guide, and still getting a different demographic of folks that will use this. So I think it's a great investment. So I appreciate all the comments. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-1. Alderman Vanderkin voting no.
Document 1276 is a request from the City of Manitowoc Recreation Department to create recreation fundraising sponsorship program. Committee returns same, recommending to approve establishing the program.
Council pleasure on this report.
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Alderman Schley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, not a big marketing guy like Alder Cummings, who is really good at his job from what I've heard. But I spent most of my life selling sponsorships for radio and television stations. And I got to tell you, I think this is really novel. I've talked to people from other cities, alders, mayors. It's amazing that it's taken us this long to come around to something like this. The best example I can think of was 2 years ago. I was in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, which is, you'd be surprised, it's not all that big a city. It's big, but it's not Tampa big or Chicago big. And they had a Grand Prix race there. And I noticed these banners everywhere, and they were covered with sponsors. And I said, I met the mayor, I was introduced to him, and I said, wow, I said, you got a lot of sponsorship here. I said, did IndyCar bring that in for you? He goes, nope, we brought it all in ourselves through our tourism department. I said, no kidding. I said, if you mind me asking, how much did you collect? He said, I don't mind at all, it's public record. $17.3 million. Okay, none of it came from St. Pete. All right? I think the idea of sponsorship for our recreation department's a fantastic idea. I'd love it if they could get $17.3 million. I doubt that they will, but.
Take care of a lot of our park issues, yeah.
But I applaud them for making the effort and going after this wholeheartedly, so I will support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1280 is a 2023 tax roll for omitted parcel 000239101 at 810 Washington Street. Committee returns same, recommending to approve adding them to the omitted roll.
Council pleasure on this report.
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1281 is a 2023 tax roll for omitted parcel 000110031 for 411 Park Street. Committee returns same, recommending approval to add to the omitted roll.
Council pleasure on this report.
Move to approve committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1310 is a request from Harvest Great Lakes LLC for an extension to the construction commencement covenant. Committee returns same, recommending to approve the request for an extension to the building construction commencement covenant to May 1st, 2025. And if a building permit has not been issued on or before May 1st, 2025, Harvest Great Lakes LLC will offer the lot back to the city pursuant to the protective covenants.
Council pleasure on this report.
Move to approve committee's recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else for the Finance Committee, Alderman Bry or Reckelberg?
I guess,
Next meeting is Thursday, March 28th at 5:30 here in the council chambers. Everybody should have already gotten their invite for that. And unless, that would conclude my remarks unless Alder Bry has some.
that concludes
Thank
my
you.
remarks as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move then to the Personnel Committee and Alderman Bill Schley as chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Clerk has the documents.
We have document 1309, which is a resolution to continue with a self-funded workers' compensation plan. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council pleasure on this resolution.
Move to accept the resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1320 is a resolution for destination marketing seasonal intern. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council pleasure on this resolution.
Move to accept the resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Alderman Schley.
Once again, just want to make clear, no funding from the city tax rolls for this. This is coming specifically from room tax, and all the funds have been secured by the city already through the room tax, and That's it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else, Alderman Schley?
Well, that's a good question. There was another issue, which was, well, actually two, 24-1239, which was a grievance appeal by the Manitowoc Firefighters Local 368. And the committee recommended initially to deny the grievance. After our meeting, we were informed that there was going to be, there was a possibility of a settlement conference between the city and the fire department. And that conference took place. There were a couple of concessions made by the city. And we were of the impression that everyone was in agreement with this, and that's why it was going to be on the docket tonight. And suddenly, at the 11th hour, we were told that the union would not agree to the settlement, and instead offered they wanted to negotiate a different settlement. We weren't in this to negotiate. We were just trying to simply codify exactly what we were going to be doing, since we had eliminated captains from the roles of the Manitowoc Fire Department. We had one captain that was on board. He was demoted to lieutenant, but we agreed to give him captain's pay for the remainder of the year. And, well, I guess things just went downhill from there, so I guess the whole thing's going to arbitration.
So, yeah, Robert's rules-ish here. So the recommendation from the Personnel Committee is on 24-1239, which we should take up, because that is a recommendation in a form of a vote from the Personnel Committee. That is to deny. The other item, 1306, would have been if there was a recommendation from the Personnel Committee, so there isn't one. So, I mean, it's obviously the will of the council, but recommend placing on file, so you get rid of the document. That would be my Robert's Rules wise, recommendation. You have to take up the first item. That was the recommendation of the Personnel Committee. You can change it, obviously, the recommendation as we saw today, but that one we should vote on.
Well, in the case of 24-1239, the committee voted unanimously to recommend to deny the grievance.
Okay, is that the motion then of Alderman
That
Schley?
is the
Okay.
motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second by Vanderkin. Discussion, sorry, Mackenzie, you don't have that document right now. We'll get it to you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. And then the other one, again, there is no recommendation from the Personnel Committee, so you can leave it on, but it'll be on next month's agenda, or you can motion to place on file.
24-1306, move to place on file.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion, Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the second grievance settlement that's come forward on this grievance that we just placed on file or denied, that isn't going anywhere. Back in January, we passed Council Document 24-1107 on January 15th. That was a side letter to basically to pay the to pay the captain at his normal rate, and then just keep lieutenants as lieutenants, because as you all know, on December 31st, we eliminated captains. So basically in the letter that they submitted as their counter, the Union 368 wants to get paid acting captain pay even though there is no captain position. If you remember, we added battalion chiefs. So the battalion chiefs are doing a duty and the captains are doing the lieutenants are doing the lieutenant duty, and feel that they are entitled to acting captain pay, even though we don't have captains. So that's the crux of this issue. My question is, at committee, we talked about the 10-day window to file for arbitration, and the committee didn't give any extension to that, which would put it at that it had already expired, I believe, today, because that meeting was 2 weeks ago. So 10 working days is 2 weeks. I was informed today that we've extended that to Friday, but without committee. So it's disappointing that we come to committee when we want things to get passed and done, but when the committee gives a pretty strong directive of we're not budging off that 10 days, that we do, and it's disappointing. So Unfortunately, we're going to be hung out to dry a little bit longer on this because now that window to file arbitration goes to Friday, where if we would have just denied the grievance settlement and not done that 10 days extension, it would be done tonight. So we could have got out of this without any costs going to arbitration because it would have expired tonight, but for some reason, the city decided to give them extra time to file. So, thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Reckelberg.
Could someone explain what Alder Sikowitz brought up with regards to the 10 days? Who made the decision, how, why, and it didn't go through committee? Could somebody just fill us in on what happened?
Sure, yeah, so, without going into closed session details, since there was discussions of potentially settling this in lieu of arbitration, which costs both parties something to even file, because there were discussions in line with what Alderman Sitkowitz said earlier about captain acting pay, and that initial grievance settlement, which was assumed to be supported by both the union and potentially the city if there was a meeting, based off of when we could call a personnel committee meeting, it being after the weekend and now Monday, and to allow the union then to also vote, because the city would vote today, yea or nay, with that settlement agreement. The union would then have to follow that sometime this week. We figured, the rest of the week would give them ample time. That was the initial reason for the request to extend. We did check with our attorney, who has been working on the union side, or with the city side in union negotiations of whether or not they can do that. We could do that. He said that you can if you both agree to just extend, especially if you're going to be meeting to potentially settle in lieu of arbitration, which that would have been what the personnel committee meeting would have been about tonight, to talk about in closed session, about the costs of doing whatever could have been done versus arbitration. Obviously, that all fell apart at the 11th minute, so. To answer your question, the chief signed along with the union to extend it. Per attorney saying that was allowable. Does that answer your question, Alderman Reckelberg?
I'm not sure, but I understand because I've been involved with things like this before, but I'll accept that answer for now. How's that?
Understood. Any further discussion? Again, the motion is to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else for the Personnel Committee, Alderman Schley?
Nothing tonight. Our next meeting for the Personnel Committee will be, let's see. It's, April 1st, Monday, April 1st. I'm not kidding.
Not fooling us yet.
At 5:30 right here in these chambers.
Thank you. We'll move then to the Public Infrastructure Committee, and Alderman Steve Sakala is chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk has the documents.
Document 1257 is a resolution to authorize application of Wisconsin DNR Targeted Runoff Management Grant. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1258 is a resolution to authorize application of Urban Non-Point Source and Stormwater Management Grant. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1259 is a request to enter into agreement with HMI for in-kind concrete repair. Committee returns same, recommending to approve the request.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move to approve the request, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Sakala.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this request is actually like a win-win for HMI and for the city. We get free concrete repair out of it, and they get to basically show their franchisees, however you pronounce it, how to do it. So everyone wins. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Sakala. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1264 is Manitowoc Recreation Sponsorships. Committee returns same, recommending to approve the request.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move to approve the request, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Alderman Sakala.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this is another one too that I wanted to keep off of consent and just show how that city government and local businesses can work together. In this case, it would be with Seahafer. And we get advertising free on their radio stations. And in turn, they, get a sponsorship out of it. So it works great for both parties. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 1277 is a request for approval for improvements to Manitowoc Chiefs Youth Football Park. Committee returns same, recommending to approve the request pending agreement and financial report.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move to approve the request pending an agreement and financial report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Alderman Sakala.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this is another one that I wanted to bring up and bring it to council and not bury it on consent because I think this is fantastic and I really look forward to seeing this come to fruition. I know Alder Cummings is going to have plenty to speak on it in a little bit, but I really do think this is a wonderful thing that they have going. So thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderman Bolt and then Alderman Cummings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From being a chief in 1978 and having to go up to Westfield Park to practice and go back and forth to the clubhouse, over the last 50 years, what we've seen for this youth program, if we can get this done for these young kids, it's a win for the community. It's a win for our high schools. There's no way to, I want to say, lose with this one, because the facility will give them a sense of pride and the improvements that they can go from here to the next decade or two, remarkable.
Thank you, Alderman Bolt. Alderman Cummings.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Council, for taking up this agenda item. I did speak on it in the Public Infrastructure Committee, said quite a bit there. I had our tackle director, Mike Ponish, come and talk, and I'm going to rest on a lot of what he said. He did a great job explaining the need for it. I will, since I am the acting president of the Manitowoc Chiefs, I will abstain from the vote for this to prevent any conflict of interest. I do want everybody to also understand that we're gonna work with the finance department. Before we do any phase of this project, we're gonna show proof of funding, and then we're gonna make sure that eventually, if for whatever reason the Chiefs would cease to exist, that we have it all legal to turn it over to the city fully that way. So those are the constraints that we're gonna work within. I will tell you, though, that if this does get approved, that it will set our youth football program up for the next 50 years to be still a prominent piece on that property, and something that kids can feel a joy to come to. It was my goal initially when I took over as president to go and restore the Chiefs to that glory and lore of what it has been for many years in the city, and this will go a long way to re-upping that lore that the Chiefs have come to known to be by for the city. So I appreciate the opportunity for the vote. And one last thing too, just so you guys know too, when we do this, it's all going to be done. It's not going to be, none of these improvements are going to be, hey Tom, you got a shovel, let's go start digging. Like, this is all going to be 100% legit. We're going to get a contract, a construction company contract, project manager, and run it all the right way. Because if any of you know me, I do things right the first time. I don't believe in cutting corners, even if it's going to save you $5. I believe in paying whatever price it takes to get it done right, and then we go from there. So that's how this project will be as well with my oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Alderwoman Katarabek next.
Mr. Mayor, I don't see Mike here anymore, but just want to say thank you for what he had to say and just offer a little praise to Chiefs. Chiefs doesn't turn kids away based on if they can afford something, and they are very inclusive as well. I think propping up organizations within our community who are equitable and inclusive are wonderful, so I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Alderman Reckelberg.
Yeah, I am going to support that, and I hope everybody else does too. You mentioned about 50 years ago. I had heard some stories about the Manitowoc Chiefs, but it was, I'm going to be, say, 70 or 80 years ago. I am 69, I'm going to be 70, and I only remember bits and pieces of the stories about the Manitowoc Chiefs. And that had to do when my dad and a gentleman named Ted Fritsch would drive down from Green Bay and play for the Manitowoc Chiefs. And I'm sorry if I'm a little teary-eyed about it, but I tell you, hearing them come down here and play for the Manitowoc Chiefs as a semi-pro team, let's say, or however it was categorized, and then when the youth program came about and my son got to play in that program, I'll tell you what, it's a first-class operation. And I hope the community gets behind it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Vanderkin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to, I guess, looking at the way this vote's going to go, is congratulate Alderman Cummings. The plans look amazing, and I can't wait to see this come to fruition. So I will be voting in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you. No, thank you, Alder Cummings, for bringing this forward and serving as president of the Chiefs. I think it's an important thing for our city, but also it's one of the last sports that hasn't got a huge investment at the youth level. So we, much like Mr. Ponish said in community or in open public input, that there's been investment at other parks like the Aquatic Center and the youth baseball, and this is kind of one of the final pieces. So it's excellent to see and clean up of that area. And I know the Chiefs has done a lot to the field and clubhouse and surrounding area, but it'll really, really clean up that area and put its mark on the city. So that's excellent. And if there's anything that hopefully all of us can help out with fundraising and sling some hamburgers and brats and whatever we can do to help you, you can sign me up.
Thank you. Alderman Cummings.
Yep, just one last thing, just for the record, for this, no city taxpayer dollars would be used. It'd be 100% financed through the Chiefs, so.
Thank you. Any further discussion? And we're going to see a couple of these, more of these throughout. Next month, we should see the changing of the name of the road to Chiefs Way, hopefully.
That's correct. I got to get the Plan Commission approval, and if that does take place, then we can do that right away.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, more to come. Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
901.
Yeah, I
Oh, sorry.
I abstained. 'cause-
Motion
yep.
carries 901. Alderman Cummings abstaining. Thank you. Anything else, Alderman Sakala?
April 3rd, 5:30, this chambers for the next PI meeting. Other than that, that concludes our business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move then to the Public Safety Committee, and Alderman Cummings is chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We don't have anything on the agenda. It was all under consent. So our next meeting is going to be on April 8th at 5:30 PM in council chambers.
Thank you. And then we will take up the One Plan Commission document.
Document 1319 is a resolution approving the 3-year harbor development statement of intentions for 2024 through 2026. Plan Commission returns same, recommending adopting the resolution.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Move for the adoption of the resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. That concludes all of our committee items. Is there any other business for the good of the order? If not, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.